Today we're going to see how to install apps on our iPhone, and this video is mainly for people who might have an Android and have recently switched to iPhone because the process for installing apps changes a bit. And just to give you a heads up, there's a legal way that we'll cover first, and then there's a not so legal way that comes after that. This is especially for those coming from Android who are used to just searching on Google for an APK to download, and Android lets you install it. It might ask for some extra permissions, and you just install it and it's ready to go. Well, let me tell you that this is one of the things that iPhone has a bit more control over, not to say 100%, because it almost doesn't allow this kind of installation. And if it does, it's at your own risk, which is why there are more cases of hacking and data theft on Android than on iPhone. iPhone is, let's say, very protective of its apps and its app store to prevent these kinds of issues. So, having said that, let's install apps the legal way. What we're going to do is simply look for the App Store. Once we're on our home screen, we'll swipe down from the middle and the following will appear. So you're just going to search for App Store and the app will show up. If you can't access this interface to search and can't find the app anywhere, just swipe right as many times as you can, like this, 1, 2, 3, well, all the apps you have will show up on the home screen. But if you only have one, just swipe once and it'll show up. Once you're here at the top where it says App Library and it looks like a loop, tap on that and it'll give you the option to search again. Here, we search for App Store, and let's understand one thing. For those coming from Android, apps are installed from the Google Play Store, or if you have a Huawei, from the Huawei Store. But in this case, since we're on iPhone, that Play Store or App Store is literally called the App Store. So when you go to install something, you're not looking for Play Store or anything like that, but App Store. One very important thing, maybe in the future when you're watching this video, iPhone supposedly has plans to allow you to install apps from the Google Play Store on your iPhone, so that might be enabled in the future, but for now, it's not. Let's go to where it says App Store, so we open this app. I was downloading this game here. Let's go to today, and I'll explain everything from the start. Once you enter here, it's literally a pretty similar interface to what you'd have, for example, in the Play Store or any other app store because it brings everything nicely detailed, like games, apps, arcade, well, all these things that we can install. The arcade is like a subscription you can get. It's very similar to Google Play. They also have a subscription where you can access a lot of games for a monthly fee. But what we're going to do today is simply search for an app you want. For example, let's look for one here. Let's say this MLB baseball app, or better yet, the NBA basketball app. Let's search for it. Let's say it didn't show up, but I want to download that app. How do I do it? I'm going to go to the bottom right where it says search, and what's going to show up for us is this interface over here. What we're going to do is look at the top where it says games, apps, stories, and more. That's where we're going to search. In this case, I already know which app 1 want to install, so I'm just going to search for NBA. But for example, if you're looking for games for 2 players or games for kids or whatever, you can search like that to see all the games or apps available in the category you're looking for. So in my case, I'm going to search for NBA directly and hit search, and here it's going to show me the game. But I actually wanted another one. Here it is, the NBA app for basketball, and I'm just going to tap where it says get. So when I hit get, it's going to ask me to verify my installation. So what does that mean? What that means is that we absolutely have to verify our identity using Face ID in order to install the app. So what's going to happen? As you can see, it says to double-click the lock button to install the app. This time, we have to do it really quickly. It can't be slow and then another click, because that will just lock our phone and the screen will freeze. So what we need to do is press that button twice really fast. The other thing is that you have to be facing the iPhone's camera, because if not, it won't read the Face ID. And look at the icon at the bottom that says confirm with the side button. When I double click, another icon will appear below. Let's see, let's double click here, and it'll show us that Face ID was recognized, and that's it. But what happened? So when you double tap, it's going to ask for your Face ID. For example, let's test it with another app, something lighter, because otherwise we'll be stuck here downloading stuff. Let's try this mini basketball app and see if it's not too heavy. Look, I'm going to step out of the camera. I'm just going to hit get, and it's going to ask for verification again. But what happens here? So I double tap, and as you can see below, it says face not recognized. So when it says face not recognized, it gives me the option to install. but when I hit install, it's going to ask me to enter my Face ID password. This makes the app installation process really tedious on our phones. So the best practice is to always double tap when you're installing apps and make sure you're in front of the camera so it can detect your Face ID. Now, if you have older devices that use fingerprints and all that, it won't ask for your face but for your fingerprint. So that's how we can handle this process. If you ever get asked for a password when installing apps, sometimes it requires you to enter a password no matter what. We can configure this. And how do we do that? Let's go to Settings. We're going to navigate over here to this app called Settings. This app up here might show up as Configuration depending on what language your phone is set to. Once you enter here, your name and Face ID will show up at the top. What do you need to do there? Access Apple ID by tapping your name. Adjust password settings under Content and Purchases to manage app. We go to Content and Purchases and see Password Settings. Here, decide if a password is needed for free apps or purchases. I'll disable this option. I hit OK and it's disabled, so it won't ask me again. If it asks, it's mainly for security, to prevent unauthorized app installations. Sometimes, uninstalling an app doesn't remove stored info. Reinstalling might restore your data. Keep this in mind. Now, if I uninstall this app, delete it, and search for it again in the App Store, the icon might change from Get to Download. With the NBA app, it shows I had it before, so it doesn't ask for Face ID again. This is the legal way. Now, about jailbreaking, similar to Android rooting, it removes Apple's restrictions, allowing unknown app installations. Providers like Cydia offer apps like Android APKs. I don't recommend it due to potential issues and loss of Apple protection. Jailbreaking complicates updates and might require resetting the iPhone. It's better to wait for Apple to allow other store installations. That's it. Hope you liked the video. See you next time. Leave iPhone tutorial requests in the comments. Bye. So look at the icon now. See how it used to say Get? It might say Download or something else. In my case, with the NBA app, since I had it before, it now shows me this icon. That's why I say that sometimes it keeps the data. When I've had an app on my iPhone and I want to reinstall it, it won't ask for Face ID or anything. Just tapping it will start the download without any issues because it already trusts that I had that app before. Now, this is the completely legal way I wanted to show you, but now let's talk about the so-called illegal way, which is a process called jailbreaking. For those coming from Android, it's kind of like rooting your phone. As you can see, it literally removes some limitations that Apple puts on us, like not being able to install unknown apps and all that. We can do this through various providers, one of which is Cydia. You can download Cydia and sometimes get these types of apps that are like APKs on Android. But honestly, I personally don't recommend it. Many people say it removes the limitations on the iPhone and makes it a better phone because you can do different things. In fact, you can find sites that show you all these apps and what they can do, and various advanced features you can enable on your iPhone. But this can lead to a lot of problems in the long run, and the installation can be tedious. Plus, you lose protection from Apple because when you jailbreak, if you want to install a new iOS beta or something like that, it becomes more complicated. You might have to reset the iPhone. So I recommend just leaving it as is and maybe waiting to see if Apple decides to allow app installations from other stores. So friends, that's basically it. I hope you liked this video. We'll see each other next time, and if you have any requests for iPhone tutorials, leave them in the comments section. See you, bye. So friends, that's basically it. I hope you liked this video. We'll see each other next time, and if you have any requests for iPhone tutorials, just leave them in the comments section. See you, bye.